first of all, you must have been knowing about the VLSI. What do you mean by the VLSI? It shows on the screen also. VLSI stands for Very Large Scale Integration. So what does this basically mean? Can you tell me?
It has a larger amount of mainly transistors, consists of transistors. It has a larger amount, and you manipulate as per whatever your design requirement.
That's about the VLSI. That's about the latest technology that we are using nowadays, because it has a huge demand for in every purpose, in every day-to-day life. As you use your laptop, mobile phones, you use consumer electronics, medical equipments, you can say application of a chip there nowadays. So this all is possible because of this technology only. So whatever things we are using, whatever things we are having in our day-to-day life, it's all because of now they are digitalized. They are having very high performance on a very small chip area. You can now see that the things are shrinking. They are getting smaller in size. Just like your laptop, they are becoming tablets, and we have mobile phones. They are getting slimmer and slimmer day by day. So that they are decreasing their area, and you can see their functions, or you can see they are far more better than the previous phones or laptops that we are using. So their performance is increasing and their size is decreasing. That's all possible because of the VLSI and because of the huge demand of people nowadays goes for Verilog or VHDL. They both are the technologies. This just enable you to, you can do a complete design on a software only, on a laptop, before actually going for the implementation purpose. They will enable you to you can design a complete microcontroller on a laptop before actually you give the vendor for the implementation purpose, so that it will give you hardware in front of you. You can see the complete hardware in front of a software in which you will be working by learning these languages. So just a reminder of the history, VLSI started very early in 1965 by a scientist named Gordon Moore. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, Gordon Moore.
He gives a Moore's law.
Moore's law.
That's like Moore's law. So can you tell me what is Moore's law?
It's every year design going to be double its transistor size going to be half of a previous generation, or maybe transistor accommodation for the same size is double.
Okay, the number of transistors you can say on the chip area is going to double in every 18 months. This is the
18 months.
18 months. Now it is reduced to 12 months. Now
12 months.
We are in a hurry to doing the things technology, in that we are reducing the time day by day. So earlier, as you know, the computers are very large. They are large number of computers. They are very big in size. We have started with SSI, as you are seeing here, a small scale integration. Then we moved to MSI, then LSI, then VLSI. Then we are planning for ULSI, that is related to nanotechnology. You must be hearing of that.
Yeah.
So we day by day are going and developing day by day. Day by day we are learning some new technologies, working on some new tools. So we get a new software so that we can able to get a new hardware with a higher performance in a lesser time. This is the major important factors in designing anything. The cost should also be less, and time should also be less, and the performance should be higher. Okay, so that is all about the VLSI. Something about related to VLSI. What do you mean by the VLSI? Is it okay?
Yeah.
So as I have already told you, my real issue is about system on chips. We can design a whole complete system. The bodies are basically a microcontroller. Have you heard of a microcontroller? So microcontroller is what? It is a complete system on a small chip. You have UART, you have microprocessor, you have a memory, you have RAM, ROM. These all are inbuilt on a single chip. This is a complete system.
Yeah, it's almost complete system, right?
It's almost it's a complete system.
Yeah.
Okay, that's on a single chip. That's basically a difference between a microprocessor and a microcontroller. In case of microprocessor, when you design, you don't have a on-chip ROM. You don't have a on-chip ROM. You will connect an external ROM, and the microprocessor will work according to that ROM. But in a microcontroller, we have a on-chip ROM, and we can use that microcontroller for a specific purpose. That is known as ASIC, Application Specific Integrated Circuits. So the designer complex And so we need a structured design techniques so that we can learn step by step how can we design a microcontroller by learning these techniques. So as I told you, these are the very important tools, and you can say the very important languages like Verilog and VHDL that you can learn about these technologies. V stands for VHSIC, and H stands for hardware description languages, and that VHSIC means very high speed integrated
circuit.
So the main motive is what we have to improve the technology, and the parameters that we follow: power, speed, and cost. These are the main parameters, our motive. These are the main motives that we have to work on these parameters so that there will be less power consumption, its speed would be high, and the cost would be less. Okay. These are the main parameters that we have to follow while designing or doing the integration to make a new chip. So as applications of VLSI is very large, processor design, as already told you, we are designing a processor, we are designing a microcontrollers by using this technology. Okay, FPGA development. Have you heard of FPGA? So what I am trying to say, you have to. These are one of the applications of the FPGA that you can design. You already designed a software or processor using VHDL. That same thing you can do using Verilog also. Very easy. So this is the IC design flow. You must be seeing it. These are certain steps. You must be hearing about behavioral designing, RTL designing.
So my concern, means the main concern is right now all people are demanding RTL designing. But
Yes.
do we means RTL designing means do we really have to go with like really in deep like placement and means all that stuff, or just the software do, and then we will cross check about that how much placement is going to be, and that's whatever the parameters we need require like delay and all that stuff. That's we are going to look at, or we are, or other sense like we are going to place it and then start means running these DRCs, like what is the issues we are getting for
Well,
RTL design.
RTL design, basically what we do, we will try to write a code as efficient as possible by learning the language so that it may use lesser space by using the constraints that we are having in the programming language. Rest of all, we just leave it to the software so that place and route, and then later on, then we going for the implementation process, then it will be checked here that what are the complete utilization of your FPGA or any FPGA hardware software development that you are using here. So these are the back-end part of the, you can say, place and route. You can't really change that thing. But what you can do, you can write the code as efficient as possible. So then when the software implement it, and it is do the flow planning, it will use lesser area of your hardware development that you are using. But when you have to give it for the physical layout, then they will do verify and do the implementation. That is the back-end process of the VLSI. What we are going to learn, the front-end process of the VLSI, that how can we write as efficient code as possible.
So still, it's going to start with software design, and then
it's going to start the software design, and later on, then after the routing and planning process is done, then it will go for the implementation part, where it is again verification is done. That here you can see layout verification and implementation. Then again the verification is done, and then after that it will be implemented. That is the back-end process for the physical implementation. What we will do in that, we will learn RTL design, and then we do functional verification using the same Verilog language, and try to implement it on the hardware platform that we are using while working with Verilog. Similarly, that you have used while working with VHDL, you must be selected a hardware platform before writing a language, before writing the code.
Before we started, so that's why you know which means blocks we have it.
Okay, so similar thing we also do in Verilog also. We select a platform before writing any code and any programming language, and then write down the code as efficient as possible so that it will use lesser parameters of that hardware platform. And later on, when we go to the vendors, when it was sent to the vendor for the physical layout, it will again be verified that how efficiently it has been written and it has been utilizing the code, and then after that it will be going to implement it on a particular chip or on a particular IC. because as a semiconductor implementation that you require a very high industry, as you know that the implementation is not a very easier thing. There are lots and lots of big end industry and you work like an astronaut in that lab for the implementation of an IC.
Yeah.
There's a vacuum chambers and you work like an astronaut, no just particle and something like that. Then after that you get a like complete IC. So these are all the back end of a wheeler side, and for the designing part you will just see the front end and how you can write a specification, and according to the specification definition how you can design a particular code by using these particular languages like Verilog and VS Code. Okay, so is it clear?
So